The drag racing season for the NMRA Spring Nationals kicks off, and John Uris, the defending MSD Super Street Outlaw champion, hopes to hold on to his title, but Manny Bajinga is back. He's the 2005 champion. It'll be a great showdown. Drag racing next, NMRA style next.
Welcome everybody to the revamped Bradenton Motorsports Park in Bradenton, Florida. And if it's early springtime and a warm sunny weekend surrounded by Mustangs, then inside drag racing must be at the 6th annual NMRA Nitto Tires Ford Spring Nationals. It's the opening event of the 2000 season NMRA Ford Drag Racing Tour that indeed annually presents some of the quickest and fastest Ford door slamming drag racing, and as a matter of fact, some of the quickest and fastest Outlaw 10.5 racing that you'll see anywhere. As a matter of fact, qualifying at this event led up to a couple of new world records right off the bat. The Diablo Sport Pro 5.0 division, plus, of course, the Super Street Outlaws, and, of course, the BF Goodrich Drag Radial Division were definitely the focal points of attention at this race. As a matter of fact, let's start off the highlights with Diablo Sport Pro 5.0. Easily the most astonishing race in all of Pro 5.0 competition at this meet came in the very first round of competition when number one qualifier Bert Kelkboom and his Aruba-based Ford Escort lined up against unheralded Don Schoeneck and a broken, and I do mean broken, Outlaw 10.5-inch tire car. Schoeneck had qualified on the bump but suffered damage when he did so, and in this opening round match, he couldn't even leave the starting line. But don't tell Bert Kelkboom, who took the number one qualifier to a 0.2 of a second red light and put himself out against a car that couldn't even leave the line. But the other side of the ladder included a titanic matchup between Mike Hoff, the reigning NMRA Drag Racing Pro 5.0 world champion in his Ford Mustang from Iowa, against Tony Bischoff, who had won all 5 drag races that he entered in 2006 with his Nitrous-aided Mercury Cougar. Now bear in mind that one day before this matchup, Diablo Sport paid $5,000 to the top 8 points earners, racing heads up, of course, for a special shootout program before eliminations began. In that drag race, Hoff hole shot Bischoff to win the money. But believe it or not, he did it twice. In the semifinals, a 668 at 210 coupled to a nearly perfect .004 reaction time beat Bischoff's 662 at 212 by all of 2/100ths of a second. David Shore and his Kansas City, Missouri-based EFI naturally aspirated Ford Escort ripped through the other side of the ladder running 660s all day long and indeed missed lane choice by all of 0.005 of a second for that all-important final round, which should be a good one. And then there was the BF Goodrich Drag Radial Division, always the scariest category to watch at any NMRA Ford drag racing event, including the Nitto Tire Spring Nationals. But this time around, there were world records at stake when both the number 1 and 2 qualifiers came within 0.05 of a second of the magic 7-second zone. As a matter of fact, the number 1 qualifier, John Kalivas, also the reigning world champion, his white Ford Mustang ran 8:11 at 174 in the first round, 8:12 at 174 in the second round, and 8:13 at 174 in the third round, defeating Chad Doyle. But on the other side of the ladder, the driver qualified only 1/100th of a second behind Kalivas' 8:04. Chris Tootin ran 8:09 176, followed by an 8:19 at 176. In this semifinal battle against Joey Bridges' modular motored Mustang, Chad unleashed the big one on the hottest track surface of the day, an 8:02 with a 0 at 177.86 miles per hour will match up the world's 2 quickest real 10.5 DOT tire equipped drag racers in what could be one of the greatest drag races of the season at the very first race. And then, of course, there's MSD Super Street Outlaw, and there was a big addition to this drag race. It was the return of previous NMRA MSD Super Street Outlaw world champion Manny Bajinga, driving the DeSantisCars.com turbocharged Mustang. Bajinga qualified number 1 at 7.53 seconds, but it was in eliminations that we saw some of the greatest battles of this drag race. Bajinga, always trying to hook up his heavily overpowered turbo machine, was in the 7.8 second zone in the first round, but in the second round against Zach Posey's Pro Charger equipped machine, Bajinga stepped up to a 759 at an amazing 191.69 miles per hour. But in that round also, Sam Vincent's nitrous-injected Ford Mustang out of Kentucky came within 1/1000th of a second of Bajinga's low qualifying time, winning with a brutal 7.538 second run over 196 mile per hour top speed setter Yanni Papakosmas out of Connecticut. Reigning world champ John Uris hit a best of 772 in the first 2 rounds, and Don Burton ran 759. before moving into the semifinal round where those two met. The New Mexicans Procharger-equipped Mustang outrunning Burton's Nitrous car 770 at 188 to a 775 at 181. But then, Bajinga and Sam Vincent matched up in one of the great drag races in the history of this class. Bajinga's worst reaction time of the day came up at .029 seconds, but Vincent left first at .015. Bajinga was behind all the way down the drag strip until the last 100 feet where the turbocharger came on strong and won 758 at 193 miles per hour to a losing 760 at 188. And as he prepares for the final round against the reigning world champion Manny Bajinga, you cannot tell me that you had any clue not only who won, but that you even were capable of getting there first in that drag race. 22 ten-thousandths of a second down there.
Yeah, it was a real close race. We had no idea whatsoever.
I don't even want to hear what you were screaming in that car when you were looking at the back end of him all the way down.
Man, we just race our own race, and we look at down the track, our own lane, and we had no idea.
Well, it's up to you to change the routine now with John Urist having dominated this in 2006. But then again, that's what you did the year before.
Well, it's when the stars, the moons, everything lines up perfect. It's unstoppable. I mean, we'll do the best we can with this ride, and hopefully we come out, and I'll see you in the end of the track.
That's indeed what he hopes, and same for John Urist and the Nitto Tires Ford Mustang. But bear in mind, when these two get together, you are talking the best NMRA has had to offer for the last couple of seasons. So plentiful excitement is on tap for this battle.
Inside Drag Racing is brought to you by Summit Racing Equipment, the World Speed Shop, and by ARP, the world leader in racing fastener technology, and by Moroso Performance Products, race-proven Moroso.
Welcome back, everybody, to Bradenton Motorsports Park in Bradenton, Florida, the site of the 6th annual Nitto Tires Ford Spring Nationals, brought to you, of course, by the NMRA and by a host of other sponsors, some of them brand new for the 2007 Ford season. One of them, as a matter of fact, is a name that you're probably well familiar with as far as Ford Performance goes, but not necessarily within the ranks of NMRA event sponsors. I'm talking about Spectre Performance. And Kevin Crack knows all about Spectre Performance. The problem is there's so much stuff you guys handle, even I don't know all the stuff that Spectre Performance deals with.
Spectre's been around for like 25 years. We have over 1,200 SKUs, and what we're promoting today at the NMRA drag racing event here are the 4-inch intake tubes, and it's a modular system that you can actually put together on any car with plenums and the coupler tubes. And the cool thing is we do have the new Spectre EMS Pro, which is an engine management system that will go on virtually anything fuel injected.
So this is literally a piece-by-piece assembly project that can be taken to any great lengths or short lengths.
Absolutely, and you'll see here in our booth we have examples of that. A 1990 fuel-injected Mustang sitting here in the booth that we literally installed the intake systems here in about 20 minutes.
No kidding. It's that quick, and I got to figure that if it's designed to be that quick, it must also be simple enough for me.
Absolutely. You know, we'll have a little clinic here in a little bit, and I'll show you exactly how to do it.
Now, like I said, you guys handle a million other things. What are the biggest selling items for Spectre outside of items that you showcase like this?
We have the filters, we have the valve covers, we have all the small block, Chevy, Ford, Dodge, all the little bits and pieces that you might need.
I got to ask one last thing. There is a sign in this booth that says sponsorships available. Are you just yanking racers' chains?
No, I tell you what, you come by the booth, give me a call at the office. If you have a show car or a race car, I'll send you parts for your car. All we want is a sticker, and I'll throw in a free t-shirt.
I think you just became the most popular man on this television show, and I might be the first one to go to SpectrePerformance.com or to call Rich Crack at home. And I do mean at home, late.
The NHRA Sportsman Spotlight with Bob Fry, featuring a closer look at NHRA sportsman drag racers and their racing activities at different drag strips across the nation. Brought to you by MSD Ignition, your complete ignition source.
The goal of every sportsman racer in the NHRA Lucas Drag Racing Series is win the division championship and then hopefully go on to be the world champ. Tom Baer went one better last season. He had a marvelous campaign in 2006. Won the Division 7 title in Super Comp, won the Division 7 title in Super Gas. That's a twofer. That had to be a career year for you, Tom.
It was a dream come true. After 15 years of running Super Comp and Super Gas, it's a lifelong dream, and it was just an awesome year.
Tell us about the Super Comp car. It's a marvelous looking race car.
Oh, thank you, Bob. It's a 2000 worthy rear engine dragster, 4-lane car, fully suspended. In the back here we have the Toyo tires, the 33 16-15s. It has a big block Chevy, 565, 1,050 horsepower that propels the race car to 235 feet per second at the finish line. We have Lucas Oil, Toyo tires, and K&N on board, and it's a full functioning, state-of-the-art Super Comp dragster.
It's great to have sponsors like that help you not only run the 890 car, but run the 990 Super Gas car. Marvelous Chevrolet Corvette. You took a little different approach racing that car last year.
And that's right, Bob. Lucas Oil and Toyo tires and K&N is also on this race car, and this is a car that we actually bought to test and tune for tracks during the year to help us with the Super Comp car to help us win a championship. And it just so worked out that we won the championship and get Super Gas as well.
Now tell me about when you're not out here at the drag strip, you teach drag racing at the Frank Hawley Drag Racing School.
I'm one of the instructors at Frank Hawley's NHRA Drag Racing School. I've been there 9 years now, and every day is an experience, and we're always learning something from the students as well as they learn something from us.
Tommy Bear had a marvelous season in 2006. It's going to be tough to duplicate that in 07, but I got to tell you, he's going to be one busy guy, not only running the Super Gas car, the Super Comp car, teaching over at Frank Hawley's school, but he also happens to have the world's quickest and fastest rental car. This dragster right here. If you ever wanted to try your hand at drag racing, this could be you. I think it's $29.95 a day, unlimited mileage.
Thank you very much, Bob. Our congratulations go out to Robert Golden, winner of the Laurel Mountain Mustang Best of Show Award here in Bradenton, Florida, with his beautiful Mustang. We'll have finals coming up next from Bradenton, Florida. Stay tuned. It's finals time in Bradenton, Florida. On the line, SuperChips Bracket 1 final build. Denny Sanford, Florida, with a 78 Pinto, and he's going against Joseph DeCaria from Weston, Florida, with the 2002 Mustang Cobra. Take a look at Bill Denny, 003 reaction time. Dialed a 988, ran a 990 at 131 miles per hour.
Denny very, very consistent in SuperChips Bracket 2. This is Jesse Enos out of Massachusetts in the 66 Ford, 350 cubic inches. And Sean Pulver out of St. Petersburg, Florida, a 91 Mustang. Pulver, an 021 reaction time, but Enos looks like he's going to top out at the top end. Enos goes 1061, 125.50 miles per hour to capture the victory.
Next up, K&N Fielders factory stock on the line. Tommy Godfrey out of Maryland with the 93 Cobra, going against Jeffrey Schmel from Jackson, Michigan with a 2003 Mustang Mach 1. Foul start for Jeffrey. Sorry about that. He went red. Godfrey, the easy win, 1162, 116 miles per hour.
Next, though, the 50 Mustang Real Street. In the near lane, Tim Matherly out of Georgia, the 01 Mustang, up against Paul Alfredo out of West Palm Beach, Florida, the 92 Mustang. Alfredo, a foul start. Matherly, an 050 reaction time. At the top end, a big win, 987 at 130 miles per hour to capture the 50 Mustang Real Street crown.
Next up, Dreaming Transmission Pure Street, Brad Meadows out of Simpsonville, South Carolina, 1995 Cobra against Jimmy Wilson, Orange Park, Florida, with a foul start. So the Cobra will pick up the win immediately. Let's see if he can turn it on. Yeah, 1031, 129 miles per hour.
The BF Goodrich Drag Radio class, the first class, all in the 8s, the 16 field. John Kalivas out of Ashland, Mississippi, the 95 Cobra. Chris Tootin out of South Carolina, the 87 Mustang, an 035 reaction time, an 043 reaction time. These guys blistering down there. John Kalivas, he was the defending champ from last year at 802 at 175 miles per hour to capture the win.
Let's go to Brett Kepner with more.
Well, each and every year, the center of activity here at Bradenton Motorsports Park is almost always the Nito.com Pavilion. And every year here at the NMRA Ford Spring Nationals, you can always find the most awesome Fords on the road today, the Steeda Mustangs. Now, you may not realize this, but this is Steeda. This is the man, Dario Orlando, the man behind Steeda Motorsports. And one thing people don't realize, Dario, every year they see these new cars, they don't realize how much new innovation and work you guys put into each new model. You may as well be Ford Motor Company yourself for the amount of work that you put into each year's new cars.
Well,
Ford Performance is our only business, and yes, we have the fastest production-based Mustangs on the planet. This is our new Q600 that we're going to introduce for 2008, and she's turning a good 1150 at 123 miles an hour today on street tires. It's just awesome, and we're so proud of Ford's involvement and also Nitto Tires providing good product to demonstrate our hard work. So,
well, yeah, I mean, they're just as proud as you. What you've managed to do with Ford basic equipment has been amazing. You say this car runs 1150s. I realize that it is on Nitto tires, but we still have to be talking, what, 450 rear wheel horsepower?
No, we're actually just under 600 rear wheel horsepower. And this is a turnkey car. We only will build, a limited number of them. And it's faster than any production built Ford vehicle on the road today.
I should have realized from the 123 mile an hour speed that it was probably 600 horsepower, because that means that realistically, if you could launch this thing at a decent RPM and keep it hooked up, we're talking a 10-second car.
Absolutely, without a doubt. Easy, a mid 10-second car with slicks.
Dare I ask, what's the price tag?
Price tag is $69,000. That's it.
That's nothing.
Absolutely.
Unbelievable.
We have more product per vehicle than anybody in the industry.
I honestly did not expect anything lower than a six-figure price. That is pretty incredible, but don't take my word for it, just look at it. That's what just about everybody who comes to the NMRA Ford Spring Nationals does. They stand here and stare and drool.
Inside Drag Racing is being brought to you by Bradenton Motorsports, the mass airflow sensor experts, and by Nitto Tire, fueled by enthusiasts, and by the NMRA Ford Nationals, the #1 Ford motorsports show in the USA.
The ARP Quarter Mile Quiz with Butch McCall offers you a chance to win a Quarter Mile Quiz sweatshirt while testing your knowledge of drag racing. Brought to you by ARP, the world leader in racing fastener technology.
Well, with me is Ron Capps, driver of the Brute Funny Car. And Ron, how about a little help with an ARP Quarter Mile Quiz question?
You got it.
Okay, this question was sent in by Dan Mullen of Tonto Basin, Arizona. His question, what's the difference between a slip tube chassis and a fixed chassis?
Well, for years, really, since the 70s, these funny cars have been built the same way they built the uprights, the way that the chassis were built. This Murph McKinney chassis, a few years ago when I was with Don Perdone, we started running a slip tube, and it's something the dragsters have done for a long time. But if you look here, you'll see at least 3, but there's on this car 4 slip tubes. And what happens is, as the car makes a run down the track, when the car and the clutch is applied, these tubes right here, these little slip joints, will move, and essentially it's kind of turned the funny car chassis into a small dragster. What happens is the car will arch up, slip these all in one direction, and take the chassis and let it flex. Because it's 125 inches, it's a very rigid chassis. So what happens is it leaves the starting line, it's able to flex a little bit. You can apply the clutch like a dragster, a little more so, and get it on down the track. As a driver, the first time I drove a slip tube, it was really strange because all of a sudden I could feel the front tires more, and I could actually feel it slipping. And it's been 2 years since I've been driving it now. Most of the funny car guys have it, but that's hopefully that answered your question.
Oh, I'm sure it did. Dan, hey, what'd you think? Did he answer the question?
The Performance Tip. Professional tips on the latest performance technology available with NHRA Pro Stock champion Greg Anderson. Items featured on the Performance Tip are available from Summit Racing Equipment, the world speed shop.
For those of you who have experienced nitrous before on the street, it's an awful job to get it hooked up on the street. This product is going to help us do that. Matt, tell us how it can do that for us.
Well, Greg, basically, like you said, with nitrous, lots of power, lots of tire spin on street tires. What the Zex traction control window switch does, first off, allows you a RPM window. Sets a low RPM set point where it'll actually start to come on, and then you can cut the nitrous off before you hit your rev limiter, which can cause engine damage. Now, there's other people out there that make those, but what ours is different, how it's special, different, what makes it really work well, is that this actually allows you to select what gear the nitrous starts to spray in. So if you want to skip first gear, second gear, this switch automatically will watch the RPM range of your motor, delay the nitrous hit so that basically when you hit that gear that you're hooking up in, boom, the nitrous comes on, you're hooked up, you're going fast.
Obviously, that's a great answer, and obviously it controls those engine explosions, which we don't want to see ever.
We never want to see that. This is a great safety device.
There you have it, folks, and take it from me, although I don't know a whole lot about nitrous. I better not any, or traction control. This is a great device for the street, and it'll save you a lot of expensive blow-ups and help you get that car hooked up.
Thank you very much, Greg. We continue with finals now at the 6th annual Nitto Tire NMRA Spraying Ford Nationals Pro Charger EFI Renegade on the line. It's Bart Tobner from Boca Raton against Brian Mitchell. Tobner chopped the tree down, 0.59. He combines that with a 9.76 to pick up the win in Pro Charger EFI Renegade.
In the Edelbrock Hawk Street category, Robert Blankenship out of Hudsonville, Florida in the 91 Mustang up against Justin Correa out of Crosby, Texas in the 95 Mustang. Blankenship with an 0.33 reaction time. These guys, heck of a drag race at the top end. It'll be Blankenship at 8.79 and 149.05 miles per hour to capture the win.
Next up, MSD Super Street Outlaw, the matchup we talked about at the beginning of the show. Number 1 and 2 qualifiers, John Uris, defending champion, against challenger Manny Bajinga, who qualified number 1, by the way. Who's the win going to go to? Bajinga broke. Uris will pick up the win, 7.62, 183 miles per hour. Uris gets the points lead.
The Diablo Sport Pro 5.0 class finds Michael Hopp out of Stewart, Iowa in the near lane up against David Shore in the 04 Escort. Michael Hopp, an 0.58 reaction time, 6.68, 210 miles per hour to capture the win.
Our congratulations go out from the booth to these other winners from Bradenton, Florida. Now be sure and join us on IDR next week when we'll be covering the SEMA Show from the Las Vegas Convention Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. All the new products for your car. You won't want to miss a single episode. For more information on products featured on today's program, check out these websites. This is Ted Jones for Doc Riley and Brett Kepner. Thanks for watching, everyone. To obtain a copy of this program, log on to masterstv.com. See you next week.